You're going to win the Premier League. People are going to say, oh, you're so gassed, you haven't won it in so many years. You don't win it, you're bottle jobs. You just can't win.
She's already laughing. This is bad.
Probably one of the best things I've ever presented, that I'll probably ever present. Like, I'll be 30 and I'll still be talking about it.
Welcome back to the Arsenal Humans Fanzone with me, Luce. I hope you're all good. I actually can't stop smiling. This is such a good start. Because honestly, I feel like just before, it's just so nice to have a friend that I feel like we've known each other for a few years now, obviously through uni. And so it's just like that familiar vibe. But I'm super excited to chat more about Arsenal, more about what you're doing, because you're doing pretty cool things. If you don't know, if you're not watching on YouTube, it is obviously Sakinaah. And I feel like every time I say your name,
obviously Sakinaah.
I literally feel like...
That's actually so funny.
Wait, what's funny?
Because you're like, obviously Sakinaah, as if it's obvious.
Well, it's obvious. Well, it's obvious if you've clicked on this episode and you've seen the name Sakinaah.
Right. Oh, in that sense, yeah, true. Yeah, duh.
And also, I feel like, we'll talk about what you're doing right now, but I feel like people know who you are. So, it's Sakinaah. But I feel like whenever I say your name, I don't know if it's because, obviously, when you were in goal at uni.
Oh, my
gosh.
I
always just like, Sakinaah,
yeah, good times.
It's just in my head. So, yeah, anyways, I feel like this has got a lot of high energy already, and I'm hoping that carries on. But, yeah, I'm so happy that you've joined me today. As always, with all my guests, I ask the question, why Arsenal? Just to kick it off, to understand a bit more about your connection with the club. So, Sakinaah, tell me, why Arsenal?
Why Arsenal? What a question. Where do I even start? So, born and raised in North London. Obviously, I'm lucky enough that the Emirates is not too far away from me, about 20 minutes. So it's something I've always seen, like up and down at Holloway Road, you just always see Arsenal shirts. Like, it's crazy to think that there's any other team in the world, because it's always Arsenal. So just kind of being in that environment really led me there. Obviously started wanting to play football a bit more, and I think my dad picked up on that and helped me with it as well. So stuff like giving me football boots and kit to play in really helped. Then, obviously he's a massive Arsenal supporter. Everyone, like, on my dad's side, a massive Arsenal supporter. So, it just kind of went from there. I mean, there was kind of no other choice. Obviously, I know there's Tottenham on the other side, but I'm not from that side of North London, So Arsenal's literally all I've ever known and all I've ever seen.
As someone who grew up in, obviously, South London, very proud to be from South London, I just see Palace shirts a lot of the time. And I'm just like, that must be such a mad experience. What is it like being that close to the Emirates, like on a match day? Or even not on a match day? Is it a bit like eerie or cool vibe?
Oh, it's just like this sense of like everyone's together. It sounds so cringe, but it's genuinely, that's genuinely how it feels. Like for example, the other game against Everton where like Dalman scored that last minute goal, I was screaming my head off. But if you're quiet, you can hear my neighbours screaming as well. So it's like we're just all Arsenal fans here. Like on a match day, things will be slightly different. So even if I'm not going to a game, but I'm going towards that way, okay, my bus has been diverted. Okay, that's okay, because it's an Arsenal game. I don't know, or Holloway Road station's closed. Oh, it's okay, it's an Arsenal game. It's like everything just kind of changes on a match day. But even when it's not a match day, you still see like just the leftovers of like the games. Do you know what I mean? Like, just these shirts scattered everywhere. Like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just red everywhere, especially if you're on that main strip of Holloway Road, like all the way up until like Highbury and Islington. Like, it's all you see.
That's honestly so cool. I feel like the only way I can relate is obviously when we were at uni, we were at Wembley. And I feel like whenever there'd be a game, like obviously you'd have a final, like a Carabao Cup or something like that at Wembley Stadium, and then you'd walk down Wembley Way, and it is that same of okay, this is like the night before, or it was like the morning after, sort of like oh my god, this is so weird, this has just happened. But for you to experience that basically week in, week out, and it feels so nice. Like the community, I feel like that's something that a lot of Arsenal fans talk about. A lot of fans have come on here and spoken about that community and that sense of belonging. Obviously you've literally been born into that, like you had no other choice apart from supporting Arsenal. And so I guess that's sort of, you must have started supporting them from pretty young. Do you have like any early memories from when you first started watching them?
So I'd say with me it's a weird one, because Arsenal have always been there, but it's probably since like towards the end of primary school that I really picked up on, okay, Arsenal Football Club. Like, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say, oh, when I was 3 years old I was like a fanatic, because I wasn't. I knew about football at a young age, but I just started to know about Arsenal as a proper team. And from there, it's from like literally getting my first shirt for my birthday to then that same day going, being surprised and going to an Arsenal game. It was Arsenal versus Everton, and we won. And I could have sworn from then on I was a good luck charm. So there's little things like that really like change you into knowing more about just not just the football, but also the football team and who you support and reasons why you support them and stuff like that.
I think it definitely is sort of the mindset and like also your age, because I think when people are like, oh yeah, I remember this goal when I was 4 years old, I'm like, do you? Like, because I don't.
I barely remember last week's games, let alone like, honestly, I barely remember. Honestly. I've got a great, like when people, I love it though, when people are like, oh, remember that game in like 1992 when blah, blah, blah. I was like, I look at them and I'm like, wow, I wish I could remember stuff like that. But
also,
for me, it's like...
that, and they weren't alive in 1992, so I'm like, how?
How do you know that? How do you know? Honestly, like, it's even when I think back to, obviously, like the Highbury days, I don't know those days. The only way I know it is through researching and seeing clips, which is obviously so accessible nowadays. But I do look back and I think, oh man, I wish I was born like 10 years earlier so I could actually like acknowledge those good times, you know?
No, I hear it, and it is quite nice that you get everyone with their completely different experiences of the club, and the people that do talk about it as if they were alive. Then I'm like, hats off to you, like that's so cool.
Fair enough.
But for me, I'm like, personal experiences are probably a little bit later on. So I guess ultimately, like, I feel like I just want to know, like, what does Arsenal actually mean to you? Because you say you've got this obviously family history supporting Arsenal, you've grown up literally in the area. If you can like briefly describe, like, what does Arsenal actually mean to you?
Arsenal just means to me like a safe point. So Arsenal is just like it's just like home in the sense of, just like when I was telling you about match days, you know, it's just something that's so familiar, knowing that every week this is the same routine, like something that's always staying the same. Obviously, we're not going to talk about performances because that obviously can differ time to time, but
true.
Arsenal as a club is a sense of safety, it's home, it's knowing like something's familiar, always on your doorstep. It's walking down the street, seeing an Arsenal fan, like knowing your neighbours are Arsenal fans. Like it's just a sense of like belonging, realistically. Yeah.
I kind of want to end the episode there.
Call it.
Way to wrap up. Yeah, it's been amazing. Thanks for joining us. I feel like that's such a nice way to summarise what Arsenal means. And that's obviously personal experience to you, but that is something that a lot of people relate to and a lot of people share. And I feel like that almost...
And even, sorry to cut you, but like, even like, see how like obviously you're from South and you'll see a lot of Palace shirts, but I'll go around North, East, South and West and I'll still see Arsenal shirts. It's so interesting.
It'll be
like
me. I'll be one of those I'll just be like, guys, by the way, it's Arsenal.
And I love that. Like, yes, you know, I go on about like being born and raised in North London, but I love the fact that from all corners of the world, there's Arsenal fans. Like, and then when people, you know, say the stuff like, oh, we're the biggest club in London, put aside trophies or whatever, however you want to see it, but just the simple things of going out and seeing Arsenal shirts all the time. Like, I see more Arsenal shirts than any other London club. It's just really nice to see.
I don't know if it's because I'm looking out for it, but I feel like I relate. Like, as much as I'm like, oh there's a lot of Palace shirts out and about, that's usually mostly on match days, whereas I feel like because of the amount of merch that Arsenal produces, we've kind of got a bit more the fashionable approach. So I feel like people, like, there's certain shirts that I probably wouldn't wear just out and about, but then there's certain maybe hoodies or accessories that I would wear out and about, like just on a day-to-day basis that's Arsenal. So maybe that's another reason why as well. But 100% the reach. I feel like this podcast I've been quite lucky to almost see firsthand the reach, because I've had someone who supports Arsenal from Australia who's now moved recently to North London, someone who's American, sort of got into them through the World Cup, so then started supporting Arsenal. I just feel like it's so nice to see the reach that Arsenal has and that sense of community. I feel like it always comes back to, no matter if you actually are born in North London, if you actually go to the games, you don't even need to go to the games to feel connected to the club, because I feel like they do such a good job on social media and things like that, that it's like, sort of like you're still part of that community.
100%.
And I feel like I've mentioned the word community a lot, but I feel like that's just because, obviously I mentioned this before we started recording, but a couple of days ago I was just scrolling through my feed, you know, on Instagram. I know you're going to get shy about this. But,
literally, so shy.
You've actually already backed out of the camera shot. So if anyone's watching on YouTube, you're so shy. She's left the chat, but I'm going to still talk about it because Yeah, I was scrolling through Instagram and suddenly like Premier League, they did a feature piece obviously on you and your experience with Arsenal in the community and how it's led to obviously Premier League kicks sessions and things like that. And I just think ultimately I'd love to know more about this. Obviously I saw a little bit of a taster in that post, but I feel like for you that is another reason why, obviously this is me putting words into your mouth, but that's another reason why you feel so strongly and so connected to Arsenal because they've given you opportunities like that.
It definitely is. Like, I don't know where to start. It's a topic I always love speaking about because it's how I found my true love for the club. Like, yes, you know, family supporting it, seeing it down my road, but to genuinely feel a connection with the club, that's definitely how it started. I was in like year 7. I started going to sessions at Arsenal in the community when I first found out about it, and literally from there, so from 12 years old till now, the connection's just been like irreplaceable. The friendships I've made along the way, the skills I've picked up, not just on the pitch but off it as well. It's been like, I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm speechless when I speak about it. But anytime I get the chance to actually bring it up and mention it, I'm always happy to do that because it's not just me. Like, yes, they've done the feature piece on me, but there's so many young people, like people that have grown up now who are a part of or are still a part of that Kicks alumni, especially at Arsenal in the community. Like a lot of the girls, you know, they still coach there, they're still part of it. It's crazy. The journey for all of us is crazy, and it's really nice to see.
No, it's so nice to hear you talk about it as well because you can just tell how deep that connection is. And I feel like it's so important what the community's doing. Obviously, it's giving people the opportunity to play football, to feel connected to the club, but also opportunities after you've played in the programmes, like Premier League kick sessions. Obviously, you've said about like coaching, then presenting experience. And I feel like the actual campaigns, like one campaign that always stands out to me is the No More Red campaign. And obviously that's, for anyone who's not aware, that's obviously Arsenal and Adidas basically coming together to commit to basically tackling the root causes of youth violence and kind of just like providing safe spaces for young people to play football and to communicate and just talk about life. For you, what does that campaign actually mean to you? Because I know that obviously you got the shirt. I'm pretty sure that was a couple seasons ago. With the shirt, and I just feel like, it is such an important campaign in itself. But obviously you've been involved in that as well.
Such an important campaign. I mean, like you said yourself, it's a chance to create safe spaces, and these are issues that are literally on our doorstep. No matter where you are in the world, these are issues that are on your doorstep. Young people, they're losing their lives to knife crime, and to have your club that you support genuinely showing the support for that as well, it's unmatched. To know that feeling, it's like a sense of pride as well. Like, you're proud of that. I'm proud of Arsenal for putting the foot forward and knowing that these are issues, like I said, that are on our doorsteps, that's going on in today's world, and they actually want to make a difference for it, and it is making a difference. I mean, I'm on the Arsenal advisory board, and I get told like certain information as well, obviously that some of it I can't say out loud, but you get told certain information, you get given certain stats, and you can see it. There's living proof of how these campaigns, how the No More Red campaign is genuinely changing young people's lives. You hear stories about it all the time, and Arsenal, honestly, like, I'm talking like they're my best friend, but as in the club, but Arsenal, I'm proud to be an Arsenal fan. I'm proud to be Arsenal because this is what the club's doing, and I really hope other clubs are looking at this as, you know, inspiration and thinking how they can get involved in different ways, because it's not just about the football club doing it, it's about a bit of a movement to raise more acknowledgement about what's going on in the world. And knife crime is such an important topic.
And it's really important that clubs, well, like Arsenal, obviously are actually using their platform for positive change, hopefully. And obviously, I mean, it's encouraging to hear you say that behind the scenes you're actually seeing some sort of improvement and how it's improving obviously the lives of young people. So I think that's just so important, and it's so nice that you feel so connected and so able to do that as well. Like, obviously because Arsenal is allowing you to be inside and see the atmosphere and actually make those sort of improvements. So it's just really nice to hear that things are actually happening and things are coming from it. Hopefully it's almost seen as a bit of a blueprint, a bit of an example for other clubs, definitely with campaigns, because it's so important to use the platform. Same way I feel like there's this maybe a bit of an expectation that people have on players to use their platforms, which I don't think that players should have that expectation and feel like I need to talk about this.
Pressure.
But when they do, it is so nice and it is really encouraging, because even if it's just like a topic away from football, such as obviously knife crime, or even I feel like players talk a lot about sexism or different topics that may be a bit more of a taboo in the media. It's just kind of like, okay, you can relate to that even if you're not a footballer. And I think it's just so important when platforms are used in such a positive way to talk about things like this. So yeah, thank you.
Even the Purcell campaign that we done with the Arsenal Women's team, like, such an important topic. Like, the menstrual cycle for ladies is such a taboo. Like, not even just in football, just like in the normal world. It's something that we always shy away from talking about. But to know that Arsenal were like there in the front talking about it, making it loud and clear, it's like a breath of fresh air.
I honestly feel like we could go through so many
things
which is so good. Like, I don't think we've got enough time obviously to go into depth into all of them, but it's so encouraging to know that our club is caring about these things. Obviously you can't do every single thing, but the fact that we're doing one thing at a time, and it feels like over, I don't know, a good few decades, we'll definitely be able to cover a lot of things and show that we care about a lot of people and a lot of experiences that people will go through. So I think, yeah, it's so good. And definitely that personal campaign, that was so good to see. And I feel like ultimately with Arsenal, because it is that one club idea, it definitely oozes that through. Not only just, obviously, you see outside the stadium, outside Emirates Stadium, which obviously we know is now home to the women's side as well for every home game in the WSL, but you can see the players outside. You can see in the murals that are on the side, you see the likes of Alex Scott, Rachel Yankee from back in the day when they were playing. You have Thierry Henry. You have just so much Arsenal heritage around the stadium, and it celebrates both obviously the men and women. And I think on socials as well, there's always collabs. I feel like with Russo and Rice, you've always got those.
So important. Like, even like if it's just a post dedicated to the women's Instagram, it's always collab with Arsenal, and that's so important. Like, because when you think about it, like, it doesn't take much just to collab it, just to collab the video, give it more exposure, and they're actually doing that. So I love it. I really love it.
I feel like everything comes down to that awareness as well, and trying to make sure that people are just familiar with it, because Arsenal women are having so much success, and hopefully Arsenal men will obviously have success this season in terms of trophies we're obviously talking about, because I feel like as a club it's a successful club, but sadly I feel like a lot of people will define that based by trophies. We've got to talk about that in a little bit when we look at the season. But sort of, I feel like you've sort of touched on it a bit then, obviously like the presenting aspects that Arsenal and the community has given you. But obviously, like, if anyone's not aware of the work you're doing and the presenting experience and the media experience, obviously we both went to uni, did football media degrees. Is there anything in particular that made you think, right, I want to work in football media and I want to maybe be a presenter, or just work in any sort of media capacity?
Just like everyone else, I guess, I want to be a footballer. Duh. Like, I want to be a professional footballer. We'll start there. But then obviously as time went on, I went to a football college, and slowly I fell out of love with the sport. I think it just got a bit too much for me, and I just genuinely couldn't keep up, which is a shame, but, you know, everything happened for a reason. So whilst I was in that predicament, probably my second year of college, thinking, okay, what am I going to do now? I was lucky enough that my college had partnered up with UCFB, and we had like an open day. So it was just my college there. A few of us went down, and we basically went to, like, you know, the major courses that our uni offered. And one of the courses that really took, you know, and opened to me was the sports broadcasting one. And from there, I kind of thought, because I knew I wanted to stay in football, but I just thought, what else can I do apart from just playing it? But, you know, I've always been told by other people that, you know, Sakinaah, you've got a thing for speaking, you've got a thing for being open and being confident, which is crazy, because I see myself as a very shy person. But if someone's telling you that you're like, I'm so shy, it's crazy. But if someone's telling you that you're confident, you've got to hear them, you've got to hear where they're coming from, because obviously no one can tell you better than the people that love and care for you. So yeah, from there I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this further. I'm going to see where it goes. So yeah, I went to UCFB, which was actually crazy because I didn't actually plan to go to uni. Like I said, I wanted to be a professional football player. So that was really last minute. I think I was like, I just made it to the cutoff point. But yeah, I applied for it, got into the broadcasting course. And instantly I always knew I wanted to be in front of the camera. And it's funny because my lecturer told us in our like first lesson that some of you want to be in front of the camera, but then at the end of your 3-year journey, you might think you want to be behind it. And I always thought like, oh, I've got no interest behind the camera. But as the years went on, I started to really appreciate like the stuff that goes on behind the camera. And it made me realize like, I'm happy to do both. Like both of them seem really cool. Like they're both really testing. Behind the camera is probably way more important. Not probably, it actually is. It's way more important than in front of the camera because, you know, they're the people who are actually doing the magic to make you look good in front of the camera. But I've always just had a knack for being in front of it and holding the mic and talking. Like it's like my happy place. It's like after I do an event or before I do the event, I'm thinking, oh, like, you know, am I really cut out for this? And then I'll do the event. I'm like, you know what? I love it. I've got to keep going in it, which is what I love because I'm lucky that I'm doing something that I really enjoy and I've just got to keep going and keep pushing with it.
I actually love that answer because I think I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to obviously wanting to be a footballer. Like I feel like I had that vibe and then I got to about, like probably 17 and I was like, it's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I enjoy playing it. And then it's so nice that so many of us now have these opportunities where we can actually be like, okay, we can still work in the game without actually being on the pitch ourselves.
On the pitch. So much more to do.
Literally, and it's so cool, and especially when you talk about being in front and behind the camera, I feel like ultimately we kind of have to. Obviously, it would be great if like we can excel in one of those, but I feel like the landscape like is changing. You need to be all rounder, so it's good that obviously you express the interest behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera. But yeah, when you said about being shy, I'm like, you know what I feel? I always look at you and you've got like a quiet confidence about you. So I think if someone gave you a mic, you will be able to yap. You'll be able to chat about whatever you need to talk about, and you'll do it with a smile on your face, but then you don't need to be the first one to say something in the room. So I guess I see from that sort of angle of, for me, obviously, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh yeah, she's really shy, because I feel like we always have good chat, but I feel like because, that quiet confidence, which I think is quite refreshing, you know, like you don't need to be in people's faces, but when you talk, you're such a good speaker, so I don't know, it seems really exciting.
Thank
and I feel
you.
like you've done some pretty cool things being a good talker. Is there anything that stands out to you so far in your career that you're like, okay, I want to relive that moment? You said you get really happy after events. What's that one event that you're like, I want to go back to that?
Obviously I've had like, you know, a few opportunities presenting with Arsenal and doing major like what's the word? Projects, sorry.
Projects,
that I've been lucky enough to present with, obviously, especially with the community, is very close to my heart. But something that comes up, I've done it twice now, and I'll always, I don't know what else could come up in my career at this point, but I'll always come back to this. The Premier League Kicks tournament that happens every year for under 16s. Honestly, that tournament is probably one of the best things I've ever presented, that I'll probably ever present. Like, I'll be 30 and I'll still be talking about it. It's something that's so close to my heart. Obviously, I participated with Arsenal in the community, I think it was back in 2019. Yeah, and then I was meant to go again in 2020, but then COVID hit. So that 1 year was really cool. It was Nigel Mitchell, who's the stadium announcer at Arsenal, and he presented it with Alex Scott that year. And it was so cool because me and the girls got through to the quarterfinals, and we had like Alex Scott like giving us that extra support. It felt really like, you know, again, like another proud moment to think that like an Arsenal legend is there and we get to also represent Arsenal. So cool. But to then fast forward how many years and to be presenting it myself is so, honestly, like speechless. I'm speechless. It was my first time doing it. I've done it alongside Grant Ibokwe, I hope I'm pronouncing his surname right, and Nigel Mitchell, which was just insane. It was just so insane. Like, you hear this guy's voice on a match day all the time, and to actually be working alongside him, and you learn so much from Nigel. Nigel's such a great guy. Like, he's genuinely giving you advice, and he's so supportive as well. So he's like a professional in what he does. So it's certain things like that that you just hold really close to your heart. And yeah, that event is so amazing. And the young people get to play at St. George's Park as well. For the last 2 years I've been doing it, and what a location to play football, honestly. Like, when I done it, it was at like a university ground, I think. I don't even remember, but apparently it was, and that was a big deal for me. And to think that these kids are now playing at St. George's Park, like, they might not realise it now, but just like me, they'll grow up a bit and they'll look back and think, oh my gosh, like, that was insane. But yeah, the Kicks Cup that happens yearly is genuinely the best thing ever. It's such good vibes, and that's the event where after I do it, I'm like, I need to keep doing this. Like, I need to keep presenting. I love it. Like, the vibes are just always 10 out of 10.
It's so nice to have those moments where you're like, no, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Like, it's almost like I'm on the right path. I'm trusting my timing. This is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be here right now. And honestly, it sounds like such a full circle moment, because kind of what you just said then, even the ground, it was completely different, that they get to play at St George's Park, which is obviously unreal. So it's almost like you did it, you left it better, then the next lot can come along and then they can do it and then leave it better for the next lot, and it's almost like pass it forwards. But for you, it sounds like such a cool full circle moment, and I hope that obviously you can continue to do that each summer, because it sounds like that's literally is your passion. That sounds like
so good.
It's passion and professional just combined. Like, it sounds honestly so cool. And obviously you mentioned you've done a few major projects anyways. Is there anything, like any current projects you're doing right now that you're excited about? Obviously you don't have to say anything, like, you don't want any breaking news or to ruin any sort of NDAs or anything like that, but
no. We'll have to see. I'm not like even trying to like keep anything secret. Like, I'll be so honest with you. There's nothing in the works. But I think, I mean, I'm not sure about you, but for me personally, like learning about this industry, especially being like freelance technically, I guess that's a posh way of calling it. But a lot of my opportunities come up last minute, or, you know, or a month before or 2 months before. So I'll be sitting here with nothing to do, but then, oh, okay, hold on, I've got an email from so-and-so and, you know, it's kicking off type of thing. So for me, a lot of it's a waiting game. And whilst I'm waiting, it's about how I push myself as well and how I learn to develop my skills. But yeah, I mean, I'm a hopeful person. I always look towards the future, and I know something will be good. Something's coming up. I know it. Something's always coming up. So
it definitely, honestly, something will definitely come up.
Yeah.
And like you say, I feel like as a freelancer, which sounds kind of like, ooh, freelancer, but like the reality of it is, for me, the only way to describe it is it's like London buses. You don't do anything for a good few weeks, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I kind of wish I got this opportunity. And then suddenly, bam, there's like 4 things, and people have reached out saying, can you do this tomorrow? Can you do this next week? Can you do this whenever? And it's like, yeah. Obviously, you want to say yes as much as you can, but without getting burnout, without burning the candle at both ends, it is so tricky. Just on that, actually, how do you sort of navigate knowing what to say yes to, what not to, or sort of just the realities of the industry? Because it's obviously, it looks pretty from the outside, and it is so fun to be in. Don't get me wrong, but there are some moments where you're like, oh my gosh,
is it worth your time type of thing? For me, I think I'm in a position when if something comes up and I know I'm genuinely available to do it, I'll say yes. Whether it's about finding the right time to do it, then we'll discuss. But I mean, I'm not encouraging burnout, but the way I am personally, I mean, like we all are, I'm a very hardworking person. I know that there's, whatever industry you're in, you've got to put in that graft in order to get to your final goal. And, you know, I'm still young, I'm 22, but naturally I'm putting pressure on myself, which isn't good. But I'm lucky I've got family. I've got 2 big sisters who have been there, done that. One of them's even in the immediate industry herself. I'm trying to get her to get me a job or something. But
like a nepo sister or something.
Literally. That's a good one. But yeah, it's just about like how I manage myself, and like, just like I said about my sisters, about knowing how they've done it and how they've managed it. And I'm lucky that I'm the youngest, in a sense of I can look at their mistakes and look at where they've gone well, gone wrong, and try and manage myself in that way as well. I'm lucky I've got a good support system around me. I've also got a dog, Lexi. She's great. So she gives me like that. Like, I'm going to close this laptop once she comes back from her groom, and I'm just going to like look at her and be like, okay, everything's okay. Everything's chill. Like, just to have that breakage away from it all. I think that's a good way to not get burnt out. I also like going to the gym a lot. I like keeping myself busy, whether that's in the media industry or not in it. So I think it's important to always have something else. Football, for a lot of us, and sports is our lives, but I think to also have something where you can take yourself away from it and just have like a good debrief is a really good way to stay in line, I think.
Yeah, it's really important to obviously switch off, and like you said, having a support network around you is so good. I'm actually the younger sister as well, and we just unite, like, honestly, all younger sisters come through together, because you get that big sister advice. It doesn't even have to be from your sister, it could be from other older people in the industry, but when you've got it within your own household, it feels so refreshing to then be like, okay, cool, like, maybe I won't do this, or I've seen you do that, so I'm going to give it a go this way. And it's just so nice that you can sort of learn from their mistakes, but also see where they succeed and be like, okay, obviously we're still going to make our own mistakes. It's not like
of course,
we're going to be perfect and we're not going to get burnt out or anything like that. But yeah, I think it makes complete sense to obviously switch off. You also mentioned the gym is a way that you switch off, and that's something that just popped into my head. Obviously, you started doing content and stuff like with your sister in the gym. Yeah. Why did you start doing that as well? Because obviously that's something that seems away from maybe a career potential of like presenting in sport, but it seems something really fun, and obviously just using your platform in a fun but like informative way.
Yeah, that honestly it's so funny because like my sister, she's been going to the gym for years. And I started going recently, like more committed in the last like year, and we literally, it just came out of nowhere. I just said to her, "Oh, you should do gym content like for her," because I don't see myself as a content creator. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. Like I can't do it. So I was like, "Oh, you should just like post gym content." She's like, "Oh, should we just make a page together?" I was like, "Oh, okay then." But it's good because it's not serious. It's a bit of fun, like, and it's easy to record as well. Like I'll just go to the gym and set up the camera and just record, and then hope for the best, whatever happens after. But yeah, that's just it's just, I thought, like, I'm a sporty person. I like to keep active, and you know, I want to show that it's not just all about football to keep active. The gym is another good way for me, especially now because I don't play football as much, but the gym is like it's just my best bet now. So yeah, it came out of nowhere. I literally just said, "Oh," for her. I was like, "Oh, you should film gym content." She's like, "Oh, should we make a page?" I was like, "Okay, sure."
It's kind of fun when you do it together. And I feel like it's like accountability. Like one reason why I probably don't go to the gym, and I've actually I think I went to the gym for like maybe 3 months at uni, and then I literally was just like, I just
To
stopped.
be fair, the gym at uni wasn't great, so I don't blame you.
That's actually that's my excuse now, actually. But I feel like it is having that commitment, but also not the commitment of content creation, because that's something that I feel like it's really hard to stay consistent with it, and that's the thing that you have to do. And that's why I was like, you know what, I'd rather, in a way, to me, even though it probably doesn't actually make sense, I was like, I'd rather create a podcast which looks like more work on paper, but then I only have to do a video 1 day a week of just me, and then every couple of weeks I'll get on a guest. So for me that was less work than, I remember at uni there'd be times where I was like trying to post 3 reels in a day, and it's just crazy. You can't manage that. And I think the people that do it, hats off to them, especially if they're doing it alongside a part-time or full-time job, whereas for me I was just like, it's not very aligned with me, and it's so hard to do it. So I feel like it's fun that you've not put any limits on you. You can just have fun with it, which is really obviously the most important thing.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that's what I mean in the sense where it's easy with gym content, because like it's another reason to go as well. To think, okay, let me just actually go to the gym and I can just take the camera with me and then see how it goes. Like, I'm not pressuring myself to have to record a video every single time. And I think that's where it links back to the previous question of like burnout and how we manage it. I just got to remember that I'm going to the gym because I want to go to the gym. I want to improve, not because by force I have to record every single time. But it's a good way to like balance the both.
No, 100%. And I actually just love talking about obviously projects, what we're currently doing and stuff. I feel like we could yap about that for a bit, but obviously this is the Arsenal Humans podcast, so I want to talk about Arsenal currently. And obviously, like me, you're...
Here we go.
big breath, we're ready for this. Like, obviously, like me, you're a big fan of both the men and the women's sides, and I feel like there's honestly so much to talk about with both that I don't think we're going to do it justice in the next, 10, 15-ish minutes, but I feel like we can give it a good go. So, looking at the men's side first, obviously, as we're recording this, we've pretty much, the last thing it's a bit of bitter taste in our mouth is that Carabao Cup final defeat. What are your overall thoughts on it? Because I feel like a lot of people are saying that it's going to impact... She's already laughing, this is bad. I feel like a lot of people are saying it's going to impact other silverware and things like that, and I personally am like, I don't know if it's that deep. Like, obviously it would have been great to win it, but what are your actual thoughts? Like, do you think that it's detrimental to our season that they didn't win this cup final?
Right. What I think is, if we'd have won it, people would have been like, oh my gosh, it's just the Carabao Cup. If we'd have lost it, people are doing what they're doing now. So I think as an Arsenal fan, especially on the men's side, because I don't think it's that bad on the women's side, but on the men's side, it's literally just tit for tat. It's just... You can't win. Literally, you can't win. Like, we're going to win the Premier League. People are going to say, oh, you're so gassed, you haven't won it in so many years. You don't win it, you're bottle jobs. You just can't win. So a lot of the time, I think I've like dimmed myself to the noise. Like you just I don't know what the word is. You just like become numb to it at some point. Like I don't fall for the rage bait online anymore. It is what it is. Yes, we lost the Carabao Cup. Like we shouldn't have lost it. Cool, but it's a final. Someone's got to win. Let's be so realistic. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. When you're on the winning side, it's great. If you're on the losing side, it's not great. But for Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, you feel like no matter what happens, you're always on the losing side. And it's sometimes a losing battle, but that's why we have to win trophies. We have to win the major ones, especially because people are going to always talk, especially as Arsenal fans. People are always going to talk about us, and it just is what it is sometimes. Like, even like with this Champions League run we're on right now, we're doing really well. Like, it's something we should be proud about. We should be able to boast about, but some of us fans, like, we can't because, you know, it's like we're walking on eggshells sometimes. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. You just want to shout from the rooftops, like, we're top of the league, like, we're top of this, top of that. But then it's like, there's always, like, some fans who just want to humble you. And, like, those Arsenal fans that, like, go crazy about, I call them, like, you know, the media Arsenal fans, or they're crazy, and we say the crazy things like a quadruple and stuff like that. I actually love it. I love it for them. I love how we can be delusional. But then there's another side of me thinking, like, let's just dial it down, guys, because anything goes wrong, people are onto us. But, you know, I guess we shouldn't think like that. It shouldn't be fair that we have to dim down our support for the club just because we're afraid that anything goes wrong, you know. But I'm always caught in two minds when it comes to it. I'm rambling on now, but that's how I feel. Like,
honestly, I feel like you could ramble on forever and I'll be agreeing with everything you're saying, because I feel like I speak about it a lot on this pod that, I don't know, I just feel like we, obviously with the quadruple, people are like, oh my God, we're going to win it. I was always like, we're in that conversation, because when you're in four competitions and you're excelling in four competitions, you're obviously in the conversation. Yeah. But that doesn't obviously guarantee us the win. And then obviously now we've not won one cup, obviously we're out of that conversation, understandably. We're still in the treble conversation, but even that, I feel like now people are a bit more on eggshells, like you said. It's just so frustrating that we can't really get excited, or we can't get happy. And I feel like this with obviously both the men and the women's sides, that I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of myself just in case it comes back to haunt us. And it's so sad, because I feel like if you look at a club like, say, Newcastle, they won the Carabao Cup last year. Their fans were going crazy because it is such a good achievement anyways, and obviously we would have loved to have won it, but then it's like those fans were allowed to be happy with it, whereas like you said, I do feel like the media, the narrative towards Arsenal is sadly a little bit like, you can't win, you actually can't win. But for us, obviously it would have been great to win it. I feel like that sort of leads on to other questions of the season as a whole. Like for you, what do you actually think like Arsenal can do this season? Like, what silverware do you actually feel like realistically we can win?
Realistically?
Yeah.
Realistically. Realistically. Oh my gosh. I do think we can win the Premier League. I do. I do believe we can win the Premier League. Because, I mean, for obvious reasons, you know, how many points clear we are. But just because, you know, like, we can win it this year. I know we can. Something's different in the air. And, like, I was having this conversation a while ago with a group of people, and it's funny because, you know, I think the guy was a United fan, and he was basically saying, like, you know, the standard of football has dropped. That's why you'll win it. And it's like, come on now, like, it doesn't even matter. We'll just win it either way. But I just feel like something's in the air for us. I've seen the squad improve. Obviously, like I said, I wasn't born in that Highbury era, so I know like that squad was crazy different compared to the squad now. But from my era, for young Arsenal fans like me, this is all we know, and this is all we see. And we've seen our squad go from the lockdown Arsenal to the Arsenal right now, and there's improvements. So I do feel like we can win it this year. Yeah, I do. Oh man, I just keep thinking about like how crazy that parade will be. Oh, it'll be so crazy. But
you know what, actually, one thing about that parade, like obviously I'll talk about what you just said, but one thing about that parade that actually shocked me. Firstly, we're talking about, and I'm like, guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but it looks pretty much written. Like you said, City are dropping points, and maybe the standard for them isn't as good, but maybe we should look at why they're not being good, and rather taking it away from us. I feel like obviously switch the vibe, switch the narrative of that. And it is written that we will hopefully lift that trophy. But with the parade, some fans, like not Arsenal fans, were saying, yeah, I'm going to turn up. And
they're going to be there. Yeah, because...
what are you doing?
Yeah, that's because half of these fans are all Arsenal fans anyways. Like, they're all from London anyways. We're not going to talk about that, Lucy. Honestly, like, they'll be there. You know what? I don't blame them. Like, I don't blame them. Come join us, but just make sure you're there, that, you know, to actually see us win this Premier League, because obviously, like we said, a lot of fans don't want us to win it. But if we do, and when we do, come join, be there. Be there, honestly, because there's nothing you can do about it. We're gonna win the Prem. We're gonna have the parade. It's gonna be good vibes.
Yeah, we've manifested that. We like words of affirmation, so I feel like that is, we've put it out into existence. Hopefully they rock up in their Arsenal shirts, all the many Arsenal shirts that we released.
Honestly.
You know, we'll just have to see. But it is actually mad, like when you say about the hatred towards Arsenal men in particular. When we look at that Carabao Cup final, there were United fans that were like, I'm not really sure who I'd rather win. And I was like, what? Like, obviously, in my head, if it was Spurs against City, you'd rather, you know?
Exactly.
I feel like it's different.
Everyone hates the Arsenal. Yeah. Everyone hates the Arsenal. And that's what I love about this club. Like, everyone hates us. And then there's a reason why people hate you, because you're clearly doing good. So I just look at it from that point of view.
Not everyone's going to like you. So, you know.
Well, hopefully.
As long as they're not liking us because we're actually winning. That's
that's
the most important thing. Just looking at obviously the season as a whole, though, is there anything, like any particular players that stand out to you, any particular games? I feel like you're at some of the Champions League games. Is there anything that stands out to you?
I mean, the player that stands out to me the most, and I think for many people, is Max Dowman. Like, his quality on the ball is unbelievable. Like, I'll be watching him play, and I think this ball's it's just stuck to his feet. Actually, the ball is glued to his feet. His technical ability is insane. And I think that game against Everton just really proved it. Like, it's funny because when I was watching that game, I was just about to take the dog out for the walk. And so I've got really bad eyesight. So I didn't have my glasses on whilst I was watching the game. So at this point, I've kind of walked away from the TV, and then Max had scored, but I didn't realise it was Max. I was like, oh yes, we scored. And then I saw it was Max, I was like, oh my gosh, like nearly in tears. Like, it was such an emotional moment.
A lot of emotions.
Honestly, I think he's going to be a proper superstar, and it's really nice to see him develop. And I know he's still young and you got to give him time, but for that Carabao Cup, I was thinking, honestly, just start Darwin, honestly. But yeah, he's definitely a player that stands out for me. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have like amazing players like Declan Rice in midfield, who's just so pivotal for the team. You know, you think about certain players that are important for the team, and he's definitely one of them. But in terms of like rising stars and like the next generation, it's really nice to see how well Max is doing, and I hope, you know, that he continues to get the support, whatever's going on behind the scenes, and yeah, look forward to it.
No, 100%. I feel like his name is obviously spoken about a lot, and I hope he's got a good support network around him. That there's not too much pressure on him, but when he is performing the way he's performing at such a young age, the fact that people literally in the cup final were almost chanting for Dowman to come on.
It's crazy.
A 16-year-old to come on to
honestly.
Win this piece of silverware. Like, when you just deep it and you just put it plain and simple like that, it's actually mad. But then I'm like, it doesn't matter. If he was 21, he almost plays as if he's older anyway. So I feel like regardless of the age, he actually definitely would have been a great player for that game, and definitely, like you're saying, hopefully one for the future, like superstar if he can carry on. And it seems like Arteta's trusting him, so I feel like we've got to trust Arteta and trust the process with that. Nice way to obviously wrap up the men's section. And looking at the women's side, I feel like there's still that we're not in as many conversations around silverware as the men are. But I feel like we can almost take out a few of our opponents along the way. When I'm looking at the Champions League, obviously we've just faced Chelsea. When this goes out, we'll know who's actually won, like who's got through to the semi-finals. Firstly, just starting with that, I guess. Who do you think will actually get through? Like, what are your sort of thoughts with the women's side?
You know what? This is when the delusional Arsenal fan in me just kicks in. But I don't think it's delusional. I think it's reasonable to say, maybe not. I think we've got a better chance. Oh, God, it's going to sound crazy. I think we've got a better chance to probably win the Champions League than the WSL. I don't know what it is with WSL. I don't know if, like, for some reason we just always fall behind. Yeah. Like, especially like playing certain teams, like drawing. I think we drew against United. Just certain stuff like that. I think we just always fall behind with it. But for some reason in European competitions, it's like we pick up this different pace, or like we get this different type of confidence. And I look forward to more of the Champions League games than the WSL ones, and it's purely because of that. Obviously, love WSL ones, especially because it's at the Emirates, but there's something about Champions League games and like Champions League nights as well, especially that game against Chelsea. That performance was really good, and I think for the second leg, I think we'll be fine. I think we still win that game, and then we progress to the next round. But yeah, I actually think we win the Champions League this year, to be fair. I mean,
I hope
that comes through. Now I'm gonna sound crazy, but I see that more possible than any other silverware. Like you said, we're not in too many conversations about silverware, but I think the Champions League one, it's always got a good ring to it. I think it's from last year, from winning it last year, just gives me this sort of high about it. But yeah, we'll see.
I feel like, you know what, it's not like what you're saying. I was like, oh, what's this take going to be like? Is it going to be a mad like rage bait one? But honestly, I feel like that's realistic, because when you look at the WSL for whatever reason, and I feel like the main reason is if you look at the amount of games we've actually drawn this season.
Yeah.
We've drawn so many games, but we've actually only lost like one game.
Yeah, one
Whereas
game.
if you look at City, United, I think they've lost 2. Chelsea have lost 3. Yet we're still obviously in 4th. I think if we win our games in hand, then we go 2nd, which would be great. Because it would secure like Champions League football either way, which I feel like is the aim at this point, because kind of got to rule out the title. But I do feel like, going back to what you were saying before, with the men's side, it's kind of the same translated with the women's, that we can't really win. Like, even when we just won 3-1, the conversation is all about VAR, and it's all about the refereeing, and it's all overshadowed by that, which I completely get why, because there needs to be a massive improvement, obviously, with the refereeing decisions. But it just feels like people are forgetting that we actually scored 3 goals. Like, It wasn't like, oh, if these goals were allowed, Chelsea would have won, or it would have been a 1-0. Like, we actually were finding the net. Chloe Kelly's rocket of a shot that just like curled in. Russo, obviously top goal scorer in the Champions League this season for us. And I just feel like, I'm sure that's the top goal scorer like overall for anyone, any team. So I feel like, ultimately it would be great, and it's not too like far-fetched to think that we could retain it. I think ultimately I'm like, right, we've got to take it step by step. Half-time, as Sabers was saying, it's half-time right now, but I do see us getting into the semi-finals, and ultimately we could keep progressing. Like, Lyon even dropped points. Well, obviously they lost against Wolfsburg, which was for me a bit of a shock. United looked like they could even equalise with Bayern. I feel like it could potentially lead to another Barca-Arsenal final. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'll come back to this video to see, if we
we'll
get
to see. But like, even like our gaffer, like Slagers, I love her. I love what she's done with the club. I love her. That's gonna sound so cringe, but I love her aura. There's something really like chilled, and it seems like she's got everything under control. Like, even when things aren't going right, it just seems like, I don't know exactly every single conversation they obviously have behind the scenes and off the pitch, but it seems like there's a lot of trust in what she can do. Very cool, calm and collected, and I respect that, because sometimes you need that. You got to have your manager with like their head on their shoulders and calm and content, and then hopefully you can reflect on the players. But I look forward to it. I think she's really improved the team, and I think she can definitely win some more silverware for us. So
I think the fact that obviously her aura and everything is also matched with the results of like last season. It's not even like you see some managers and I'm like, oh, they come across like really well, and then you're like, yeah, but they're just talking about them losing 5-0. Whereas I feel like Slagers can actually match what she's saying as well, and I feel like the confidence for all of us is probably because Slagers has done it before. The style of playing across 2 legs suits us very well. Even being 2 goals up is kind of a bit like, that's weird, because we're used to then like coming back together and then going the second leg to then get the result and get it over the line. So I feel like, we obviously have that confidence in her. And kind of linking to her, but also Arteta as a whole, there's quite a big question, I guess, but it's obviously completely your opinion, because I feel like this is something that splits the fan base a lot. But what do Arteta and Slagers need to do this season to be seen as successful? As in, what silverware, or do they even need silverware? Is it about where they've finished in competitions or the league?
I think Slagers is okay for silverware. I think she's okay. Like, I think we already, I think, oh God. I think she's okay in the sense of like, there's not too much pressure right now. There's not too much, I mean, not for me anyways, not on her, not on the women's side. I don't have pressure on the women's side because I understand, we just won the Champions League. I understand that. To retain it again,
what is it, the Club
the Club World Cup. That's it. Yeah, I don't know what the Club World Cup or Champions Cup. Yeah. We just won that, and to double it and do it again the next year, that's like, okay, you're really good. Mm-hmm. But I don't have that like pressure on her to win it again next year. But the thing is, I do want the women's team because I believe that we are one of the biggest clubs for the women's team. So we've got to lead by example. We've got to prove that. And the only way to prove that is obviously by trophies. So obviously I want the team to win like another major trophy. But if we don't this season, and if we finish, second in the WSL, like, I'll be okay. I won't be heartbroken because it's not like I'm desperate for a trophy. Like I said, we just won the Champions League. If we don't win something major this year, okay, cool. We bounce back and go again next year. I think then the following year, that's when it puts a lot more pressure on it to win actually the WSL. Because I think that's what a lot of fans want nowadays. I think just the WSL, just to have that domestic title. So that's that. I think I think compared to Arteta, I think he's under a lot of pressure to win a major trophy. To win the Premier League. That's it. He has to win the Premier League. He could have won the Carabao Cup, could win the FA Cup, Champions League, which is really good, but I think the main thing is the Premier League. And whether he's gone next season if he doesn't win the Premier League, I don't know. Like, that's not my tax bracket. I'd have to talk about that. I'd have to think about that. But I do think he has to win the Premier League. A lot of fans won't be impressed if he doesn't, especially because of the gap we've got right now. It is a thing of like, how can we not win it? Simple as, how do we not win this Premier League? I think compared to Renee, I think he's obviously under a lot more pressure because, I mean, it's kind of like what I said, like Renee has that Champions League to kind of settle the wounds a bit. Yeah, to fall back on. But the men's side don't have anything to fall back on. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure, to be honest.
For you, what you're saying, obviously Premier League, which I completely agree, is that enough, just that one piece of silverware, or do you think it needs to be the Premier League paired with the FA Cup or paired with the Champions League, which obviously that would be insane?
I think for me, the Premier League will be enough.
Yeah.
Because it's been like 20 odd years since we've won the Premier League. Honestly, like we'd obviously rather that than the FA Cup. So I think for fans to sit here and say they still want the treble, it's like, okay, like let's just be a bit reasonable here. Like, give the guy a break, give the players a break, honestly. But I think the main thing for me is a Premier League. Like, yes, we can win the FA Cup. But if we win the FA Cup and we don't get the Premier League, I'll be disappointed because I think I want the Prem. We all want the Prem. I've not seen my team lift the Premier League trophy. Like, come on. We all want the Prem. Like, FA Cups, like, I mean, at some point they called it our cup, isn't it? Because, like, we just had it every year. But definitely want the Premier League. Obviously, Champions League would be unbelievable. To be the champions of Europe, that'd be unbelievable. But I still want that domestic cup and I want the Premier League.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like it's such a balanced view, but also kind of realistic, which is good. Because it's like, that is kind of the expectation. There's not as much pressure on Slagers. There is a lot of pressure on Arteta. And I don't know if that's got a thing to do with the fan base, but then even when you look at Edeval, when I feel like that was a couple of seasons back. Obviously, we see us right now, like the women's side, we're champions of Europe and we won it back in 2007 as well. But a few seasons ago, we didn't even get through like the group stage.
Exactly.
And there's moments, we have had moments where we've dipped as well. So I think obviously anything can happen, but looking at just the Women's Champions League, getting past Chelsea is a great achievement, I think, for Slagers. Getting through to another final would be amazing. Obviously, winning it, that is just cherry on the top. There's a lot of pressure for Arteta, definitely. But yeah, hopefully this manifests and hopefully some things work out for us. I just want to end this episode with a little bit of a game. I normally just do one. It's all opinion-based, so it's not a quiz or anything like that.
Okay.
Don't worry. But because this is the Arsenal Humans podcast, and I feel like because we talk about the men and the women in quite a bit of detail today, I kind of wanted you to just like create your ultimate Arsenal human based on this current season. So I guess the sort of attributes is like who's got the best right foot, left foot, shooting ability, passing ability, tackling, leadership authority, And the last one I feel like is quite a key one, the best celebration. So this is sort of, I was going to say, get out probably the team sheets.
Yeah, literally.
It can be combined, because obviously it's an Arsenal human, it can be combined of obviously like, you can have a right foot from the women's side and a left foot from the men's side, like whatever floats your boat. But just, talk me through your ideas. Talk me through your workings out as well. I will do one of each. I won't be greedy and pick like, okay, 2 left footers or something like that. I'll do one of each. So we'll start off with left footers. Max Diamond. Left foot. That's it. You don't need to explain,
That's it. We'll go into leadership next. Leadership. Oh.
You can maybe have like 2 if you can't really pick.
I think I'll go 2.
Put whoever you want into this human.
I'll go 1. Leadership, I'll go Declan Rice leadership. I think, put aside his performance or whatever, however you want to manage it, but I think he is naturally a leader. He's got that leadership about him.
What's your thoughts with them? Obviously, there's a lot of debate around him and Ødegaard, and obviously Ødegaard is the captain. But then Rice has been stepping up. Even Saka, he's been wearing the armband more recently. But who? Like, there's sort of a lot of names in the debate.
I don't see Ødegaard as a natural leader, and the reason why I say that is because, I don't know the guy personally, obviously, but he seems like a really chill guy. Kind of like you'll know he's in the room, but he's not the loudest in the room. And I'd want my captain to be the loudest in the room. And from what I see, like on social media, Declan Rice obviously got a massive personality. Yeah. And he does look like he's probably the loudest in the room. Like, he's confident. He'll get the music going, type of thing. And then kind of like going back to Saka, like Saka's like our star boy, isn't it? So I don't see him. He's, like I said, I don't know these guys personally, but I'm just saying what I see on social media. But he also seems like a really chill guy. So even like Gabriel, if he was captain as well, he definitely looks like, a very strong. We all know Gabriel. He's a very strong character. But
and
that's just
vocal on the pitch.
Vocal on the pitch.
Shine through with Rice as well.
Sure. Right-footed, I'll go Russo. Because another one that I have to explain. Like, what a baller! Really. What a baller! Like, when she was at United, I didn't really see her too tough. Like, I didn't really know much about her, probably because she was at United. I don't really watch their games the way I watch the Arsenal games. And wow, she's moved over to Arsenal now, and she's unbelievable. She's such a good player. She's so confident on the ball. Like, she's your typical striker. Like, if you want a striker, Alessia Russo is your striker. Like, that's it. Finishing, we'll go Blackstenius. Yet again, another one I don't need to explain. Like, just another person who's very clinical in front of goal, to the point where if she doesn't score, because it's a point where if she doesn't score, or like, moments like that, or she's missed a chance, you're like disappointed. You're thinking like, what? Like, come on, like. She's one of the, I don't think she's top scorer, but she's up there. Like, she's a great goal scorer. What other parts of my human am I missing? So I've got left foot, I've got right foot.
Like passing ability, tackling, and a celebration. You can add any other attributes you'd like, obviously. Sure, human, but
my human. Tackling, I'll go Saliba.
Nice.
Like, especially that Carabao Cup game, how he like managed to keep Haaland under wraps for a while. I think he done really well. He put in a lot of effort. And Saliba's a funny one, because like he'll have a couple of games. I was like, oh, hold on, what's going on here? But then, he'll have that one game or the next few games where like he's putting in proper crunching tackles, like last minute stops. I love that as well. Celebration, I'll have to go Chloe Kelly, right? And I say her because, she's a goat for celebrations. Like, come on now. But recently, obviously, Michelle Jamang, ethnicity, she's from Ghana. And she obviously done her ACL a little while ago. And she's obviously in recovery process. So I hope it's all going well for her. And Chloe Kelly done the Kakari Cat celebration, which is basically like a famous Ghanaian dance. And I saw that, I was like, oh, that's so, I think it was her and Olivia Smith both done it. And I was like, oh, I love that. Like, to see like your culture on the pitch is a crazy feeling. So yeah, and plus she's got so many other iconic celebrations as we saw in the Euros as well. So
I feel like especially when she does like Baller League as well, like even just obviously when she's playing, but when she's a manager, she's so vocal and she's very out there. And I wrote down, I was just like, a few ideas like that I would have for the Arsenal Human, like the celebration. I was going to say that Kelly times Smith. It's so cool to see them celebrating together. Obviously it's actually kind of mad, like maybe how life works of Kelly Smith being like their combined name of obviously that Arsenal heritage we have, one of the best players to wear the shirt in itself. Crazy. But I just feel like it's happened multiple games now. I feel like it happened when I was at the Emirates for the West Ham game at the weekend. Then it happened obviously in the Champions League. Like it's just so good to see them just so happy, and obviously it's a nice tribute obviously to Adrian with her recovery.
And then passing, I'll go David Raya for passing. I think his distribution is so good. Like, it's so satisfying to see him distribute a ball, especially when he gets it perfectly into those channels. Even like to feet. I mean, I guess it's a skill that a lot of goalkeepers have nowadays. Like, they've got to be good on their feet, and I think he really is. And it's stuff like that, especially when we're on the counter attack, just to be able to release the ball and quickly play upfield.
I feel like your goalkeeper lens definitely came in. When I was thinking passing, I was like, wow, like we've got so many midfielders, and you're like goalkeeper. I didn't even think of that, but it's so true, like the distribution, and definitely, obviously, as a keeper, like you'd look at it more closely and see, okay, he's getting it down the channels, or he's able to pass it out, like the completion. So yeah, I would not have predicted that, but that is such a good analysis. I feel like this would be a pretty intimidating human. Like if you had this player,
hopefully,
you'd be like, whoa. Like they would definitely win at like 5-a-side or anything like that. That would be that would be pretty mad. Pretty mad. I think that was everything though on it. Yeah, I feel like that's the Arsenal Human complete.
That's my Arsenal Human.
That is your Arsenal Human. That's
there we go.
Yeah, I feel like I want to carry on talking to you, but
honestly, we could go on for ages.
We could yap forever, but we've actually sadly come to the end, obviously, of this episode. And yeah, honestly, thank you so much for joining me. Please plug your socials, because I feel like people need to, obviously, if they're not already, for whatever reason they should be, but they need to obviously follow your journey and see everything you're doing, because it's so good, like not only obviously for you personally, like in your professional career, but the impact, like we were talking about earlier on this conversation, the impact it's having obviously on other people, just seeing you do your thing and the work you're doing. So yeah, plug your socials.
Literally just my name, Sakinaah Boateng, across social media. It's a good thing about having a unique name, because no one else had that name on Instagram, so I was like, I'll just take Sakinaah Boateng. So yeah, just my full name, and that's it.
But no, honestly, thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed this, and I hope anyone watching, listening, however you're accessing this episode has as well. Thanks so much. I feel like we're just
Thank you for having me, Lucy. Honestly, like, the podcast is amazing. To sit here and talk about Arsenal for however long is a dream, and you're making it come true. So thank you very much, Lucy.
Of course, man. I appreciate that. Perfect. Well, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.